5.
All right, everybody, welcome back again to McRaeathon 2025, raising money for Get Well Gamers UK. Now, we have the one and only Ventillo running Inertial Drift. Take it away.
And hello, that's definitely not the second time we do this intro. Hello everyone, welcome to Inertial Drift, a game that I will be running today, accompanied by Johnny. I'll let you introduce yourself quickly.
Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm another runner of Inertial Drift. We'll be doing Ada story mode any percent in this. Ada, Viv.
Yep. So this game has 4 different story modes. We're gonna skip all the dialogues, but yeah, there is easy with Edward, normal with Ada, hard with Iba, and hardest with Viv. It's basically like DRT with R4 previously. So timer is gonna start when I select Viv in 3. If I can give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So basically, one very big particularity with this game is that oh, I forgot to skip this. Already losing time. The biggest particularity with this game. Oh, the timer doesn't start apparently. Doesn't matter. I have the timer on my side at least.
There we go.
But yeah, the biggest particularity of the game is that you don't steer as you would usually steer with the left joystick. I mean, you still steer with the left joystick, but you can also control the drift angle with the right stick. So this is actually not a normal race, it's a drift race, but the thresholds are so low that you can just drive normally.
Yeah, the big thing that throws new players off of this game is it's a twin-stick racing game. You need the right stick to control the drift, and that's your primary method of controlling your car. The left stick controls your steering wheel, but it's mainly for small angle adjustments.
Alright, now we are in dual mode. So basically this is the any percent category, so we don't need to win everything. And duels, we can lose them. Oh, it's so satisfying when you can nail the turnaround like this.
Oh yeah.
I know that you don't turn around like this. I saw you in your runs, you were just turning around
Just
in
spinning
straight.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's faster.
I'm not sure either, but I start turning around because I normally play on keyboard, and there isn't a reverse button on keyboard. So I just got used to spinning around the way I do it, just turning on from the start line instead of reversing.
So basically the dual mode is just like, for example, for those who know Tokyo Extreme Racer, which is a game I've run at another marathon held by Viper. It's basically like when you're behind, you lose health. It's like the opposite here, like you score points when you're ahead. But yeah, first to 1000 is winning.
Yeah, dual mode is the only mode we can skip in any percent. Other than that, it's identical to 100% runs.
Actually
there are
not.
some-
Actually not exactly, because there is also 2 events that are.
Oh yes, endurance as well.
We are
forgot.
gonna come back to them. So yeah, this is time attack. We have rolling starts as well. So the rolling starts is based on your best personal rolling start, I think.
Yes.
So if you have good times on your own, you will have better rolling starts.
Yeah, it's based on the highest speed you have crossing the finish line on any given run. Doesn't have to be a personal best.
And yeah, you get 3 attempts on these.
Now this is the first track where we'll see a strange technique to anyone who doesn't normally play this game, or at least not on dual mode at least. We'll see it on the
We'll see
next
that
run.
later, because now we have the duel
Yes.
to skip. But yeah, we'll start
it
seeing
will
some
look
of the
strange.
speed tech at some point in this track. Kinda technical track, but still beginner friendly. I think it's a very good track to learn the game.
Yes, the track's very wide, so it's more forgiving.
So yeah, you don't need to go very far behind. Like at some point, the points stop accelerating to be counted. So here we just need to wait.
Now it
And
truly
now we have,
begins.
yeah, the time attack. The real stuff begins now.
So I'll just let this technique play out first and then explain what's going on.
I'll try to get it clean though. So here first we have the little corners here. Oh, I failed.
Ooh.
I failed this corner for the first time in like 2000 years. I still try to... Oh, okay, I failed.
Your speed wasn't quite as high because you hit the wall earlier, but that is what we call a super drift in this game. It's when your car turns at an angle greater than 90 degrees, effectively hooks onto the inside corner and pulls your car around, which looks stupid but is very fast.
Yeah, I'll try to
Make it
boost
here
off
as
better
well.
here.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's better. That was better. That's more like an actual super drift.
You know, only a few cars in this game have access to it, the Chrono being one of them. It was Ventus, 7D, Raptor, Soprano. It's different techniques with all cars and how to initiate a super drift. Some cars you need to release the accelerator, some cars you need to press the press the brake pedal even.
Yeah, that's
Let's
a
keep
very
both
interesting
going.
a very interesting thing about this game is like each car is extremely unique in terms of how it drives, and
Yes.
every car has its own techniques. I mean, some have some similarities between each other, but
Yes, like Gecko and Dart, for example, they're pretty much identical, just different turning cycles sort of thing. But compare that to, say, Chrono or Dragon, and the handling model is very different. Just because you're good at one card doesn't mean you'll be good at another one.
yeah. For example, to talk about the Dart, was the car from Edward's story mod, and it's the easiest, and the car is very responsive. Like you can drift a lot without even releasing the accelerator.
Yes, you shouldn't release accelerator at all with Dart. Same with Gecko.
Yeah.
It's just braking around corners if you need to lose speed.
Oh,
Ooh.
I didn't. Yeah, generally with super drift, one thing you need to do is to get back into to get back straight into a straight position.
Yes.
You need to brake, and at the same time also counter steer with the right stick. And sometimes if you don't time it right, you just do another super drift again.
Yeah. One thing you'll be careful with as well is overcharging a super drift. So what you want to look for is the bottom orange gauge on the bottom of the screen there. That's the drift charge of the car. For a super drift for the Chrono, you want it to be filled around 3/4 full to about 3/4 to almost full to get a super drift. The higher the charge, the tighter the drift. But if you overcharge it, you can do a full 360 and just crash into the outer wall, which isn't fun.
And yes, overcharging the drift makes you spin around like crazy. I hope I'm not gonna do it in this run.
I suppose.
Yeah. Also, it's the limit at which you can release like how long you can release for super drift is influenced by frame rate. So I'm currently playing at 120 FPS because at 60 FPS I was overcharging the super drifts way too much. But
Yes, that is one of the.
I think you know more about the topic of FPS in this game than me. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
there's a 360.
That's what happens when you really do it.
Yeah, so that's one of the downsides of this game is that super drifts are FPS dependent, and the higher your FPS is, the more you can charge a drift before you spin out. So it's kind of pay to win with your computer hardware. 60 FPS is a nightmare to play. 120 is decent-ish, but really you want to be above 200 to get any sort of reliable super drifts for world record runs, which of course is dependent on your PC.
Yeah, I kept it at 120 because basically this game is surprisingly eating a lot single core CPU for performance, and my CPU is kinda old and is not that great in terms of single core performance. It has a lot of cores, but they are bad, basically. So yeah, I can't go like at 300. I think I heard on the Inertial Drift Discord that the best was 350, but I'm not sure.
The best is 500 actually.
Oh, okay.
That's with a like really high-end GPU.
But I don't think 300 is necessary for the chrono though. I think it's more like Suprano. The Suprano is basically it's a car that's mainly inspired by the AE86 from Initial D, and
it's identical.
basically
really.
it's the chrono, but so the car we currently like, but harder, and
Yeah.
it's much like you can't steer as much without releasing as I can. Like it's already pretty stiff, the chrono, without releasing, but Suprano is even stiffer. And the super drifts are even more sensitive. Like you barely release the accelerator and you're already in the super drift very quickly, and it spins out really quickly as well. So that's why the high FPS are really important with the Suprano.
Yeah. It's the definition of high risk, high reward. It's also the most punishing. If you tap a wall, you lose so much speed with Soprano. And now on to Snow Mountain Sprint. There's a lot of hairpins in this, so a lot of
very
super
difficult
drifts.
track, and there are a bunch of super drifts that I'm not doing at the start. But the ending is super drift fest.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can nail all of them.
Yeah, the fun part about this speedrun is that each track is harder than the last, so you can never relax.
Yep. So here the start is quite easy. Here I don't really know what the optimal lines are. I think there are 2 super drifts here, but I never practiced them. They seem really difficult.
Yeah, you super drift on the first snow patch, drift normally on the second, and then super drift in the tunnel. And super drift around here normally as well. But
Yeah,
it's
I'm always slower with the super drift on this one though. Like here I can get
also
200.
just drift normally, of course, and you don't lose too much time from it.
Yeah. Here I do a lot of brake taps to just make it more consistent. And here, there we go. That's a nice super drift, very sharp. And so yeah, I hit the inside on the first one, but it was still pretty nice. I kept a lot of speed. But yeah, that's the super drift abuse. Of course, you need to be at a decent speed for the super drifts to work. Because an under 170, for example, it's not really worth it. Oh, and that's actually a decent time, I think. 152 maybe. Yeah.
152 exactly.
Yeah, my PB is 150. And it was done in a run actually. Like, I've got a bunch of 150s in a run. A 150-11, a 150-12.
I think my PBs are 147 or 46, something like that.
Yeah,
it's only done it once, so it's very temperamental on the super drifts.
Yeah, you
I
do
think
all
on
the
the
super drifts as well
people-
in the early moments of the tracks. This is the variation of the track we just saw, which is a circuit version of it.
Yeah, we go on the first half normally, and then off onto a different section.
And I really don't like this track, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
It's one of my least favorite track, along with in this run at least in the story mode. It's probably my least favorite track, along with Kirino Forest, which we'll see later.
Oh,
Then you have a
yeah, the
super
ending on
drift.
that track is definitely something else.
So yeah, that was another style event, by the way, but we are driving just normally because the goals are pretty low. The only moment where you want to actually go for style points is in 100% Viv speedrun, so this story mode, but 100% because the gold threshold for the very last one is actually pretty high.
Yeah, it is odd. It's the only 100% one that I know of that you actually need to focus on the style for. The rest of them you can just drive through normally and not hit any barriers, and you've pretty much got it no problem. Which is odd because normally the style medal requirements on every track for every car is incredibly low, but for that one in particular, I think it's like 100,000.
Also, one particularity with the track, with this track specifically, is that you may have seen in some spots, might have missed them, but there are some shortcuts, some snow shortcuts that only some cars can take without slow down too much. For example, in one of the other story mode, you race against someone who has a rally car in there, and he takes the shortcuts, and you just can't win the duel because of that.
Well,
I mean,
you're
it's
not meant to,
winnable,
at
but
least.
if you're very good on me.
Yeah, there is a duel on Iba's story on this track with a rally car that takes the shortcuts. The Dragon can't take the shortcuts, so the developers thought that the duel couldn't be won, but they've made the Ghost a little too easy for the rally car, so you can actually win the duel just about by the finish line. There's no leaderboards for it, which this should be really, because it's a special achievement. There's only a couple of people who've done it so far.
Yeah, that's a very tough achievement to do. I mean, there is no achievement for it, but yeah. 152 again. And Sunset Sea Circuit, an actually difficult circuit.
Yeah, this is where we'll see the other technique come into play a lot, which is bonking.
And I got
intentionally hitting the walls.
Yeah, bonking. I got a pretty good rolling start here, I think. So here there are, the fastest technique is a bonking, but I'm more consistent with the super drift, so I'm doing it. And here is the bonk, the bonking strat. So what happens here is that when you bonk a wall on the inside, you generally lose a lot of speed. But if you bonk the wall on the opposite side before, it will kinda put you in some kind of state where you are somewhat immune to speed loss from wall hits, and so you will lose a lot less speed on your next bonk. I think we call that
similar to iframes in fighting games. You hit the wall on the outside lightly, and then you get like around 3 seconds where you won't lose that much speed from hitting walls afterwards. So you can just tap the wall on the outside lightly, slam onto the apex, and you get a shorter line with no speed loss. And we'll see it a lot here.
Just wanted to jump in and see if this is a good time for some donations.
Yeah, maybe.
Excellent. We've got a bunch. We've got people donating like crazy, and this is great. We've got £5 from /Arbiter. It says, GG's to all the runners so far, and good luck to all to come. Super excited to watch some weekend races. We've also got £5 from Thrasher DBS. It says, hey, I forgot to shout out the sound check master, Bryanak, last time. Or Bryanak, sorry. I can't speak today. He deserves some recognition for making sure all these runners sound great, too. And then we've got another £5 from Bees. It says, Dart Cute. Thank you so much for all those donations.
Dart is definitely cute.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure what car it's supposed to represent IRL.
I don't know either,
Some
but
kind
Bees is another.
It's some kind of compact, like some kind of Japanese compact.
Yeah. Bees is another speedrunner for Inertial Drift. It's my closest competitor on Dart at the moment. They're second place worldwide. I'm first. But they've got some very strong times I've yet to beat. Looking forward to getting around to that.
Yeah, this game speedruns is very much mostly popular on levels. There are a lot of in-game leaderboards for each car and each track combination. The full game speedruns are a bit less popular though, unfortunately. And with me running it recently, it seems that I brought back a bit of interest to it.
Yeah, I used to run it in the past, haven't done it for about a year or so, and then once Ventilo told me of this marathon, I jumped in and I took the world record from him. Whoops.
Whoops. I slipped.
I was just
sorry.
interested to see what it was like, and then I ended up getting the record, so it's fun.
Yeah, I only have barely over 60 hours on the game.
Yeah, to be fair, I have many more hours.
Yeah,
Ventilo's
you
come out
have
of
like
nowhere with-
1,000.
Yeah, I've got 1,100, I think, at the moment. Plus whatever I've got on consoles, so...
You have
Ventilo's come out of nowhere with very strong times already, so...
before I mention what I was gonna mention, I'm gonna just quickly say that we're in endurance mode. So basically, it's basically the OG arcade racing game mode where you have to cross a bunch of checkpoints, as many as possible. You have to clear as much distance as possible. Here we only need bronze, so that's about 2 laps and a bit. Oh, okay, that's not bad. That's not good. But yeah, that's pretty difficult because you need to be very consistent. It's very long, and it's a track where it's difficult to be consistent at. But yeah, I was
There's
gonna
a trick
mention,
I'm sorry.
there is one thing that we calculated recently. Johnny said that he waited on the title screen for more time than I did play the game, because the game has one flaw, is that when you do a time, it saves your replay, and so the more replays you have, the laggier it gets when you crush the finish line. And it also this is also why I run the game with Steam in offline mode, by the way, to not have this, because it's when it uploads it to the server that it lags.
Yeah, the game freezes if you get
yeah.
a PB, so...
The game freezes when you get a PB, because it uploads the new replay to the server, and it lags more the more cost you have. And basically one other side effect of this is that this also applies to offline mod though. The more replays you have, the longer the game takes to boot, which is very annoying. And for Johnny said it was 8 minutes for him.
Yeah, 8 minutes each time I load up the game, and in total I've spent probably about 80 hours waiting for this game to launch.
So yeah, that's one of the downsides of the game. It's a great game, but some areas of its code are really weird. Okay, that was
I have
not
just
great,
reached the end
but
of endurance, but I forgot to mention there is a trick with endurance, in that you can get a higher distance by zigzagging across the track, because it also tracks how far you travel.
yeah, it's a personal, it's a
width
distance
wise.
that you crossed and not the distance that you did on the track, basically.
Yeah,
Like, it's
so if
your
you keep
distance and
zigzagging
not.
around left to right, you'll get more distance than if you just drove straight on.
So basically, if you go backwards, you actually have an advantage. I mean, you actually that's not what I wanted to say. You actually get distance when you go backwards.
Yeah, you get distance, but you don't get time added when you cross checkpoints though, so you can't do that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And here we are on the final track, Mount Carino. Anyone who's seen Initial D, yes, this is exactly what it's based off of. It's the hardest track in the game, the longest track in the game, many different points to fail, but hopefully we can get through these alright.
Okay, first super drift done alright. I'm not doing the super drift here because that's a lot
Yeah, it's very
more
risky.
safe.
I think it's only like half a second's difference as well.
Yeah, on such a long track, it's like you could technically take the record without doing that super drift.
Yeah, it records I think 3 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yep.
Normally in the speedrun you get about 3 minutes 40.
And
3
even
minutes 45.
even the record loses a bit of time because he messes up a few turns, but not a lot. It's really a difficult time to get. It's really a difficult track as well. Like my PB personally was 3:46 during a run, and I felt like I didn't do many mistakes. So gaining 8 seconds, I mean, on that is mental. Also, I kind of failed this turn. Supposed to keep over 210 and I only kept like 180. Super drift here, which I kind of messed up, but not too bad.
Do you
There
super
is-
drift from the bridge? No, you
There
don't.
is
Ah,
yeah,
right.
yeah, no, I'm not doing it. It's really difficult.
You
It's a
can do
really
that on the
difficult
first
one.
turn of the bridge, but
It's
you run the
really-
risk of just smashing your car
It's a
against
time
the
attack
wall.
strat to me. More than a run strat. Also, this one I'm doing it though. We are approaching one of the most difficult super drifts in the game, probably. And I failed it. Okay.
It's the better of two outcomes. If you go to the outside, you lose way more time.
Yeah. You can keep up like 200 speed here. If you're doing it correctly. And there we go. And when you keep 200 speed from the first one, it's basically snowball. You get a lot of speed for all the next ones as well.
Yeah, now it's hairpin after hairpin.
This
here.
one is also very difficult. And these, you generally don't have enough speed and it's better to just take them normally without super drift. The world record doesn't super drift here at least. And I really wonder how you could get super drift consistently here. I've never seen
I
anyone
don't
try
think
it.
you can. I think Chrono loses too much speed from super drifts to do on every hairpin.
Yeah. I
Spino
think
definitely
maybe
does,
the
though.
second, if you really can get a lot of speed from the first one, but third and
Yeah.
fourth, definitely not. Here you can also do this in one drift, but do this entire zigzag in one drift. But I'm not very consistent with it. A lot of these zigzags are I will just brake tap to change direction.
Ooh, that's it. Nah, that chicane there.
Yeah, that's a bad
You can
hit,
do
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Generally you can barely like lose a few kilometers and
Yeah, you
you're
can
not
thread the
enough.
needle and get like 290 out of it, kilometers an hour.
I'm sure you're pretty bad in the end here. 355, okay.
355. Hmm.
Knowing that I got a 346.9 during a run, and here I got
Oh, yeah.
355, that's yeah. But that's the marathon. I was not commenting or anything, I was just focusing. Full focus on the game.
Well, if you'd like to focus more, I can take over and read a few more donations.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, we've got 10 pounds coming in from Flying Dutchie. Says, I hope you all enjoyed the race. Take care of this, loser. My grandma drives faster than that. Into the program. Thanks, Dutchie. And then we've got another 15 pounds from Calamag. Just says cars. And Calamag, that donation took us over 100 pounds raised so far today for Get Well Gamers. Thank you very much.
Alright, so here we are approaching one of the toughest corners in the game. Also, I did that one a bit too early. Also, probably the toughest corner in the game. This one. Oh, and I actually did it pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a very tight hairpin, and when you drive on the sides, on the sidewalks, it slows you down quite a bit, just like the sand or something like that.
Yeah, use a lot of, like, at least 2-3 seconds if you hit the sand there.
And now we are back on Mount Carino for the final race.
We're racing against Gladio
So,
here.
time, this is the final race. Time is when credits appear. So basically 3 seconds after I cross the finish line. This is very important because I did a few runs of the game before even knowing that. So technically, the time where I have beaten the world record for the first time, it's not really world record because I didn't go to the credits immediately. I crossed the finish line before world record, but I got the credits after.
Yeah,
Because I thought the run was finished. Oh, ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. That's what happens when you release way too much. It has a lot of. To me, it's really making me think of Redresser Type 4, where when you release the gas, the car will drift more, and like that's basically the same mechanic.
This spiral bridge messes everyone up. It's a very
Oh,
tough,
that was bad.
yeah, very tough part to get right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go at. We're gonna have a 31 minutes time, which is one of my worst times ever.
When you don't hit the sand here, okay, you're good. If you hit the sand on the outside of there, it's a lot of time lost because
Yeah.
the big straight afterwards.
I'm currently 40 minutes behind PB. 40 seconds. Whoa.
40
40
minutes.
minutes. Yeah, we are not even 40 minutes in, and I'm 40 minutes behind. That's crazy. I'm still in the lakeside loop right now.
Oh, very
See,
nice.
I'm actually glad I did some fails because at least we get to see what happens when you fail, because that's quite funny. You see the car spin around. When it spins
Yeah.
on snow as well, it's even worse. Like
Oh yeah.
when you try to
keep on
super
spinning the
drift
snow.
and you hit the snow, that's a big slowdown, and the
Yeah,
car
just before
spins
the
so much
start-
faster.
Just before this marathon started, I was doing
Okay,
more
attempt
runs
number
of
2.
this. I spun out in the snow and it would just constant spins,
Ooh.
like 3 or 4 times, just spinning around.
I kept 180 out of this. That's pretty good.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and I kept 180 out of this one as well. Let's go. Ah, I released the.
I cancelled too early.
I strengthened them too early. Yeah. Yeah, as mentioned this in the chat, the Superno is another story. I'm not really familiar with it. I haven't tried to run too much with the Superno. Oh, that was bad. I haven't tried to run too much with the Superno because, as I said, the FPS. I'm not a fan of running at 500 FPS because my PC is gonna tell me no. I'm not doing that. Also, at this point, my PB has finished. And we are still over 30 seconds away from the finish line. But yeah, world record currently is 30 minutes, driven by Johnny himself a few hours ago.
Yeah, I was trying to get sub 30 before this run started. I got 30 minutes, like 0.46, 46 seconds even. It was very close, but
And personally, I got a 30-14. I published a 30-13 in the PB channel of the McRaeathon, but that was before I realized that the timing was on Credits World. So timer is gonna pop. I'm gonna do a countdown when I cross the finish line. 3, 2, 1. Time.
alright, what'd you
That
get?
should be like 31-6 or 7 or something like that. So yeah, GG's.
Yeah, GG's. Oh, I'm seeing a bunch of Inertial Drift people in the chat now. That's fun to see.
Yeah, the game is generally easier than that if you start with the campaigns of Ada and Edward. I started personally the game first time I did casually. It was with Iba, so yeah, as a first campaign to do, I really struggled.
Yeah, that's a
I
rough
was
one
really
to
not
start
used
with.
to it. But yeah, now it's really easy. Like first time I did Chrono, first time I did the Viv story, I really struggled, especially on the Snow Mountain, because the time requirements are so difficult. Like they ask you for a 203, and now I'm consistently pulling like 152, 151. Also nice credits with stuff with the logo over the names. And
I've never seen that before.
yeah, apparently no one has ever gone through the entire credits.
This game is perfect and has no flaws.
Yeah, I mean it's a great game for what it is. It's a great game. Definitely
I
one
would
of
have
my
1,000 hours
favorite
if it
games of this year. I mean, it didn't release this year, but my favorite game out of the ones I tried this year. Anyways, who does the outro?
You do the outro.
Oh,
No, no, it's all good. Any other shout outs? Anybody you want to?
big shout out to the Inertial Drift community, which is still active and which is full of very highly skilled players. So that's crazy to see. Shout out to Johnny for commenting my run with
No
me,
problem.
and for also running the game at insane pace. Like right now, my sum of best is 29.59. It's like 1 second ahead of his time in a full run. My sum of best is not even better than him. I mean,
You'll
slightly.
get there.
Slightly.
I've got a huge time advantage, hour advantage on you. You're already like on my pace, basically.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to shout out all the people in the chat who are from Inertial Drift server who've come to join us. Thanks for watching as well.
Big thanks
Yeah,
to
and-
Joshimus who raided an hour earlier and with like 1,000 people. And it was during an intermission, so everyone left already.
No, Josh's people are good people. They stuck around,
Yeah.
hanging out and watching some good things happen today.
Yeah, those who stayed, they didn't regret, for sure.
They got a show. They got a hell of a show. All right, gents, thank you so very much for this amazing run. We are going to kick it back over to an intermission here shortly. And when we come back, we're going to have a Redic Raptor running Roadkill. It'll also be the end of my shift for the day. So taking over the hosting desk will be the incomparable Dino HD95. So thank you everybody for an amazing day. Keep those donations coming in for Get Well Gamers. We are over 100 pounds so far. Let's get those donations in. Let's keep making some kids happy with some video games and keep racing all day long. Thanks everybody. Enjoy the intermission.